What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we lost in the Carabao Cup semi-final to Chelsea. 3-0 on aggregate, 1-0 in the leg last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's get straight into it and let's start off with Pierluigi Gollini. Surprise inclusion for most fans. 5s all round from us. Obviously, he came rushing out for that corner. Really should have claimed it. Terrible. Really, but it was with Gollini, that was like the main criticism, wasn't it, that we heard of him from Atalanta, coming out from corners and being commanding from corners. Apart from that, I think he actually did play fairly well, as Conte said. Some good saves, one from Lukaku, and there was one in the second half, can't remember who was it from, but he did make some good saves on the night, so not all so bad from him. It was just that one moment from the corner.
Yeah,
really.
And that obviously was the only goal we conceded, and it wasn't just a moment though; it was just a horrific error, wasn't it? He just comes out and completely misses the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those crosses where he, just misjudged whether he should come or not. I think he judged it right to come, but he just completely missed the ball.
Yeah.
And you can't really say anything about that. It's just a horrific error. But other than that, he did have a decent game, so it's a bit harsh on him. But unfortunately, goalkeepers, when they make a mistake, is usually costly, and that's what happened yesterday.
Yeah. Moving on to TANGANGA, 4s all round from us, and it's carrying on a theme with Japhet in the last 3 games now. 3 costly errors. This time he lost his man again from a corner, and yeah, he's just lacking in confidence massively at the moment. And look, his game all round wasn't like that bad, but his passing was terrible. On the ball he was terrible, and at that moment he was terrible. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to take really with Japhet because he's one of our own.
Seems to be a theme with him in corners at the moment. He keeps losing his man. It's happened time and time again, and he needs to sort that out. But I thought he was quite aggressive when he was trying to press and win the ball back at times. But I felt other times he also struggled, especially when he's asked to play out the back and we're asked to build up a bit of possession and play out Chelsea's press. He seemed to struggle. So another kind of poor performance from Japhet.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, he was trying to bring it out of defence, dribbling through the park, but every time he tried to do something, he more or less lost the ball.
Doesn't look comfortable doing it.
Yeah,
he's trying to do something he's not comfortable doing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to Davinson Sanchez. 6s all round from us. Probably our best defender on the night. Look, he played fairly well, but not... I don't know what to say, really. I thought he played fairly well, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought when he was up against Lukaku, actually, compared to last week, where a couple of times he got bullied, I thought he stood up pretty well. And I think defensively he did decent. But again, when he's given time on the ball, when Tottenham have got their turn for possession, he doesn't really have it in him to do what Eric Dyer can do. With
night and day, isn't it, when Dyer's on the pitch, when he's on the pitch in that same role.
Yeah, agreed. So nothing terrible, but he was okay.
Ben Davies... Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought he played fairly well throughout the game. I did think he was one of our better players. There was that one moment when he was marauding through and put in that cross, that Emerson, that met Emerson's head. That was a good chance for Spurs. But yeah, apart from that, not too much to note, to be honest.
Yeah, he had that cross, which was good. He didn't get too many times forward other than that, off the top of my head. I felt Lukaku actually targeted him many, many times in that centre-back role. And that chance that we talked about before where Gollini made a save, that was from Lukaku bullying him. And it happened a few times, actually. He was getting the better of him. And obviously, Lukaku didn't score, but on another day, he could have made most of the opportunities he had. So I thought he struggled in that sense, but he wasn't terrible.
Emerson Royale, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. Providing good option on that right-hand side, getting up and down the pitch fairly well. But it's the same thing over and over again. His end product's really letting us down, in my opinion. And obviously had that header that we spoke about a minute ago with Ben Davies. It was a good effort, but probably could have done better there.
Yeah, I thought he provided a much better option on the right than Doherty did on the left. I think he was like KANE kept finding him in good positions, and I was again with Emerson, he can get into those positions very effectively. He can make good runs, but his final ball on a couple of occasions really was really left wanting. I thought defensively he was pretty sound up against Hudson-Odoi and Sarr on that right hand side. I thought he dealt with them fairly well, but as an attacking option, he's got to provide a lot more than in terms of actual quality in the final third. And again, that was letting him down yesterday. But yeah, he could have scored that header, and I don't think it was terrible.
Yeah, All right, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, sixes all round from us. Much better than the horror show at Stamford Bridge, that's for sure. I thought in the midfield three, he was probably the most competent of the three. Had that deflected shot that cannoned over the bar. He had that penalty shout, which was outside the box, which VAR ruled rightly on. But I thought he was a nuisance to Chelsea side throughout, but he was probably one of the only ones in midfield that was.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty commanding, actually. One of his better displays of late, Højbjerg, for me. He was actually getting forward and providing an option in the final third as well when we needed, when we were lacking in options. And I thought he had a lot of bite in there up against the Chelsea midfield. And I actually think the Chelsea midfield weren't as dominant this time round as they were last week, which is credit to him. So better from Højbjerg, but still room for improvement.
Yeah. Moving on to Harry Winks, Sim gives him a 5, I gave him a 4. Wasn't a display up to scratch of his recent displays, to be honest. I thought that he was energetic, as he has been in recent weeks, but I think his passing really let him down on the day. I think his passing has been good recently, but yesterday it really wasn't. And there was that one moment when Harry Kane was through on goal and all Winks needed to do was slot it into him. And it was just a short pass, and that pretty much summed up his day, to be honest. Yeah,
that was that moment he overhit the through ball. It was an easy, for someone of Winks' ability, that's an easy ball to play. It was like a straight ball straight down the centre, and he completely overhits it. And that was frustrating. I think off the ball, he was making some really good tackles and interceptions, and actually was pretty aggressive. I was quite liking what I was seeing, but a few times where Tottenham were trying to play some quick one-touch passing and play a quick through ball, and he just had his range all wrong a few times in the centre of the park. So still, I think he was decent at like quickening up the play, but when it really came to those killer passes where maybe a couple of weeks ago he was playing them right, yesterday he got them all wrong.
And Giovanni Lo Celso, 4s all round from us. He got his start in a big game last night, but didn't take his opportunity, in my opinion. He was the one that really should have been that creative role. Didn't do enough for me to get Spurs up the pitch, to get Spurs in creatively ticking, and just a lackluster display, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he was annoyingly sloppy as well in possession. He kept giving it away time after time. And when we needed quality to link up with Lucas and Kane, he was kind of found wanting. And more often than not, he was anonymous. And that really, really frustrated me, to be honest, throughout the game, because I've always been a big advocate of Lo Celso. But, of late, especially this season, he hasn't really, when he's had time on the pitch, hasn't been justifying his minutes. And he needs to improve that if he's going to be part of Conte's team.
Yeah. Matt Doherty, 4s all round from us, started on the left once again, which I just completely did not understand with Sessegnon on the bench. And it's just the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's just he's so limited. He's just so limited on that left-hand side. He does the same thing every time. He gets the ball, good position, cuts inside on his right, because it's the only thing he could do because he can't use his left. And then we ultimately ends up breaking down the attack. Didn't do anything to influence the game, in my opinion, and got hooked at 65th minute, and rightly so.
Yeah, and I think in the first half he did find himself in some decent positions, but never put the ball in. Always hesitated. Always chose to pass back inside and not really attack anyone. There was also a few moments where we were on a breakaway and he had moments to really attack space, but he's just not capable of doing it. And he ends up getting dispossessed. And it was another game where you're watching the pitch and you're thinking, why is this guy on the left? Or what does Conte see in this guy on the left-hand side to make me think that he warrants a place? And it was a very difficult watch for most of it.
Definitely. Lucas Moura, 5s all round from us. I mean, the effort and desire is always there from Lucas Moura. He was trying to make stuff happen, trying to get on the ball and literally just try to make us tick, really. And it just wasn't happening for him. And I felt like in the final third, his decision-making quality wasn't really that great yesterday. And there was that one moment where the ref pointed to the spot, but it was never a penalty.
Yeah, definitely not a penalty. I think Kane's pass to that one could have been better, but also I think Lucas might have been able to get there, but he kind of maybe steps in too early. But there are a few moments where he had opportunities to maybe, it would have been a bit of individual quality, but a few shots from like just outside the box and things like that to really make an impact. And he was found wanting a bit. He did show some quality with some dribbles and really he tried to be a spark, but some days it works for Lucas and some days it doesn't. And I think yesterday was just the day it didn't.
Yeah. Last of the starting 11, Harry Kane. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Definitely our best player on the day. Trying to be the talisman, trying to, orchestrate everything. He was dropping deep, spreading the play. He was holding up the ball really well. At times, he was trying to do things on his own. In the centre of the park, he just drives and beats 3 men. Later on in the game, he's in the box beating men, but no one really around him was on his wavelength, unfortunately.
Yeah, I thought he was head and shoulders above everyone else, to be honest. It wasn't just his hold-up play, his ability to open up the game, and you say his dribbling is actually really good. They actually found it quite hard to deal with him. It's just everyone else they found it really easy to deal with, unfortunately. I thought a number of times he was being creative, playing really good passes out wide to Emerson in good positions and creating good situations. He'll probably still be haunted by that 3-on-1 he had where he overhits that pass slightly to Lucas, which obviously led to the penalty, which wasn't a penalty. But that was a really amazing piece of play to make that 3-on-1, which he was able to conjure up. And a number of times, I thought he was showing some really good quality in hold-up play, but unfortunately, no one else could match him at all.
Yeah, and that's facts. Ryan Sessegnon, the first substitute, came on from Matt Doherty. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. What do I say about Ryan Sessegnon? I mean, he came on, he tried to spark the game into life, but it just wasn't happening for him. I mean, he did see quite a bit of that ball on the left-hand side, but with, to be honest, little quality on the ball. He did have that one chance at the end that got deflected wide, but that's about it, to be honest. Yeah,
I thought he was a bit of a better option on the left than Doherty was. He was showing for the ball a bit and was able to attack down the left, whereas Doherty kept cutting back inside. A bit of a lack of quality, but decent cameo from Cess. And if Reguilon isn't fit for Sunday, I want to see him start.
Yeah. Brian Hill, the last player that we're going to give a rating to, came on with around 20 minutes to go. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. Showed energy, showed desire, showed some character and will, but ultimately, I think he didn't really impact the game at all, really.
Yeah, he was playing some nice one-touch passing, actually, and trying to quicken up the play a bit. And he was came on the right-hand side, cutting inside, and he was getting on the ball quite a bit, trying to make something happen. But I think by the time he came on, anyway, the game was pretty much done. So it was difficult for him.
Yeah, Antonio Conte, 6 from Sim, 5 from me. I felt that look. I've said over the last, since the game got called out in terms of the lineups, that the lineup wasn't right. But look, at the end of the day, on the flip side, even if we did have the lineup, even if Sessegnon did start, even if Lloris did start, even if Skip did start, probably would have been the same outcome, to be honest. So can't mark Conte too much down on that. I just thought it was a bit of a defeatist mentality. I felt like he didn't give us the best conditions to win the game, even if we did have the best 11 out there, we probably still wouldn't have won the game. He did make changes to try and impact the game, but I thought Sessegnon should have come on a bit earlier than he did. But yeah, not really much to note. It was just a losing battle from the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult. I actually felt the team as a whole, for who he had on the pitch compared to Chelsea, I don't think we played too badly. We were probably unlucky to lose the game 1-0 in the end, despite the fact over 2 legs we were well beaten by Chelsea. I felt in the second half yesterday we were probably the better team. We were creating some openings, although Chelsea probably took their foot off the gas. But I did feel like the 1-0 scoreline was unfortunate, and I think we probably did the best we could with the players we had out there. But I don't know why he started Galini over Hugo. I'm confused by that, and I don't know why he picked Sessegnon over Doherty. Everyone else I can kind of understand, but I don't think
impacted anything.
It probably changes from a 1-0 to a 1-0 or something, or maybe a 1-0 to us. No, I don't think we keep a clean sheet. I think a 1-0. I don't think we win the game, but maybe we get a bit of a better result.
Yeah. That's exactly how I was thinking. But look, that is our player ratings. I want to know your opinions in the comment section below. Your opinions on our ratings, your own ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.